occurring. And in case you are not familiar with Teams, there are a few different features that I just wanted to make you aware of. If you see on my screen the green circle, that's our chat icon. So you can click on that if you want to ask us a question, or we might drop a link in there for you to click on. So that's where you can find the chat. If you have along the way, you can raise your hand by clicking the hand that's in the pink circle. You're also more than welcome to have your camera on. We love to see your faces, and you can turn your microphone on if you have a question as well, if you want to talk, but we know that not everyone is comfortable with that, so you can use the chat feature as well. With us tonight, I have Mrs. Dito, our building principal. I have Mrs. Mooring, our assistant principal, and Mrs. Cullum, she is our third grade special educator at Bakerfield. So we're going to just do a couple of quick updates on a few different things related to Title I and school. And then we will have two different sessions. Mrs. Cullum is doing a session for students with IEPs, looking at how to use some features for reading and writing. And then I am doing a session on It's Learning and some different apps and websites that you can use to build reading and math skills at home. On Tuesday, we met as a school performance and achievement team. That team creates a plan for the year with goals related to reading, writing, and math. And then we also have goals for school quality and family engagement. And the idea behind it is for us to set some targets that we would like to meet throughout the year. So I put a snapshot of our plan there just for you to see, and you'll hear more throughout the night. But our big theme for the year is feedback, and our teachers are working on providing students with feedback that they can use to improve their learning. We felt that that would be a really valuable strategy for us to use in the virtual environment, and then we will work on student goal setting, so the things that they can do to help themselves do better while learning at home. At the end of the night, I have a s'more that I created that will have a lot of the different resources that we talk about. This parent plan at a glance is in there if you want to look a little closer at some of the things. It highlights our theme of feedback, and then looking at using a workshop model in reading and writing, kind of doing some conferencing with students, more one-on-one small group instruction based on their needs, and kind of carrying that over into math as well. So you can take a closer look at that if you are interested. We wanted to share, I'm not sure if you're familiar with the Aberdeen Epicenter. They are located in the shopping center where Ollie's is. They are beginning to serve the community. Mrs. Dito and I had the opportunity to tour there right before students came back to school. It is a beautiful facility. They've done a really nice job creating some different things that will really be beneficial to the community. For now, they're doing food giveaways once a month. The next one is November 21st from 10 to 1. It's a drive-up event, so you just pull your car up. They'll put food in the car for you. It's already pre-bagged, and then you can leave. Contactless, so that it's very safe. It's socially distant. So if you are in need of food, or you know anyone else in the community who could benefit from that, please let them know that the Epicenter is available. They have also started their internet cafe. So on Mondays from 10 to 2, you can go into the lobby and use their internet. So the picture is actually a picture of like the drawings from when they were building, but when Mrs. Dito and I toured, it looks just like this. They have lots of different cafe tables set up, very quiet places to work so that you can use the internet. So that's also an option for our families. I also wanted to let you know that our emergency food pantry at Bakerfield is up and running. Again, we have a partnership with the Hartford Community Action Agency. They help stock our pantry. it's for families who are in an emergency situation. All of a sudden you're evicted or something has come up and you lost a job and you need food. You need to call the school and make an appointment. With the school closure, there will be someone in the building every day of the week, but you need to make an appointment just so that we can assure we're maintaining social distancing, keeping those health and safety precautions in mind. We also have a list of local pantries if you need food on a more regular basis that we can give to you. You can also go to the Hartford Community Action Agency. I believe it's once a week for food. So all of those things are available to the community. If you know anyone that's in need, please pass it along. We would love to help. Mrs. Dito is going to give just a few updates regarding Dr. Bolson's announcement that was made on Monday. And then we'll have an opportunity for families to ask questions if you need more information about this.
So yes, Monday evening, Dr. Bolson shared with the Board of Ed as well as with the community that due to the rising positivity rate as well as the number of cases per 100,000, we would be moving to an all virtual teaching status. So with that, our rate in Hartford County has moved above 7%, and our cases per 100,000 are now above 20. So for us to be able to return back to the school, our health metrics have to be below 5% and between 5 and 15 per 100,000. So what will happen is we will reevaluate, and it'll be that we need to meet the metrics for at least 1 week. So then we look a second week to reevaluate. If we're meeting the metrics the 2 consistent weeks, we can look to return to the building. At this point, we're at least 2 weeks out before we could return because we need the metrics to be below those numbers. So as of this time, we are fully virtual. We have been able to get internet for all of our families, so all of our families should be able to access. If you know someone who has issues with internet, please let them know to contact the school and we can work with them to help them. But the daily schedule will not change. Students will still be expected to be with their teacher virtually from 9:30 each morning until 3:15 in the afternoon. So the day stays exactly the same. And we will be working with kids throughout the day. And obviously with Fridays, it still will stay that it is going to be more of an asynchronous day. But the work for Fridays is still an expectation that they need to participate, and all of that work is part of their grade.
And then Mrs. Dito, like you said, we'll have about a 2-week notice for when we'd be able to return to school. So yes, we would follow kind of the same procedure where Dr. Bolson would make an announcement, and then we will share all of our information through Class Dojo and Facebook.
So yes, we will do our best to make sure to communicate, but if you are following the metrics, if you go through Hartford County Health Department, it does provide you with the metrics to know where we are, and that those are kind of our guidelines that we need to be below 5% positivity, as well as between 5 and 15 per 100,000 cases.
All right, thanks, Mrs. Dito. So at this point, if anyone has questions regarding the change with virtual learning or any of the health information that Mrs. Dito shared, you can go ahead and put a question in the chat. You're welcome to turn your camera and or your microphone on, and she'll be able to answer any of those questions before we go into our next session. Or if you're not comfortable asking now, we have an evaluation at the end where you could post your questions. No, we're good.
And the chat will remain active through the entire event. So if you later want to go to the chat, which is kind of the little square box at the top, and you can type in a question that you have, I can either answer it through the chat or I can do it orally. So if anytime you have a question, feel free, the chat will be open.
All right, so we are going to move on to our next whole group topic. We wanted to talk about building independence during virtual learning. So close to the end of the first quarter, grade levels, classroom teachers met, and this was a topic that kept coming up in conversation, is how do we get the students to be more independent? And then it was also a theme that was running through our family survey that was completed. So we wanted to give just a couple tips and tricks, especially since the kids are going to be home every day now. And again, if you have questions along the way, feel free to just raise your hand or put something in the chat, and I'm happy to help. So I did some research. There's been a lot of things coming out with virtual learning because of the pandemic, and a reoccurring theme throughout a variety of different articles was really making sure you have a space that's designated for your child to work. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. It could literally just be your kitchen table. It could be a little desk in their room. But giving them a space that's theirs to work can help them organize their materials and help them get ready and set for the day. I put a little image here, and when I share this more at the end of the event, there is a way that you can turn a cereal box into a magazine holder, which would be a great way for your students to organize their materials for themselves. So they can have their books in there that were sent home, their Envision papers, any of the other resources that teachers gave could all be right there and easy for them to find. You could make two, so they have one for the morning and one for the afternoon, one for all day. But it's just a simple, easy way that you could create something for them to just put their stuff in. I know my son's stuff was everywhere, and I just needed a spot to keep it so that he was organized, I was organized, and it wasn't all over the place. Something else is to build a schedule and keep a routine, especially now that we are home. It's really important to keep those regular school routines. Still have them wake up at the same time, have breakfast, and get ready like they were attending school in person, so that they're set and ready to learn. You can create a schedule. I snipped a picture of what a 4th grade schedule looks like, and in the s'more, I've linked a editable. You could just add in your student's schedule so that they know what time everything is stopping and starting, especially being home with the breaks and lunch times, so they know when they should be joining their meetings. And then we kind of made a T-chart of what the teachers will do to help promote independence, and then some things that you can do as families. So like I mentioned before, our strategy this year is feedback. And so the teachers are working really hard to give students feedback on the work that they're completing so that they know what they can do to make it better next time, or what they're doing that's really great that they need to continue. We're really hoping that this strategy will help improve the students' work. And oh, I have a typo there, I'm sorry. Teachers are also conferencing with students to help target more of their specific learning needs. But as families, we really want the students to work on and complete assignments and assessments on their own. So with the kids not in front of us, it's really hard to gauge exactly what they were able to do. So when they're submitting an assessment or assignment, the teachers are using that for their data and their feedback. So it really needs to be something that the students did on their own. If you're noticing that while you're sitting next to your child, or while you were kind of watching them do their work, that they're struggling with something, then please communicate that with the teacher. As parents, we just naturally really want to help our children, and we don't like to see them struggle. But sometimes that help isn't actually doing as much as you think, because the teachers really need to know where students are performing. And then help your child navigate the tech issues that come up. Kind of walk them through it instead of doing it for them, so that they start to learn what buttons they need to click or where they need to go, and just model persistence and positivity. We are all learning and navigating this tech environment together, and we all run into issues that can become very frustrating, but we really want to teach the students that it's okay, it happens. You don't need to get upset, and here's something that you can do to fix it. But showing them along the way will help them be more independent and hopefully take a little bit less off of your plate while you're facilitating the learning at home. So those are just a couple of tips and tricks that we had just for looking at that independence piece. And then as we move into our sessions, I have some other things to help you kind of with its learning since we've transitioned to that platform. So I keep mentioning the s'more. If you just click on the words, click here on the screen, it will open it up for you. I can also put the link in the chat if that is easier for you to navigate. It has the directions on how you can turn that cereal box into, oh, Mrs. Dito, can you copy it in? Because with my Teams update, I can't hit send.
Yes, I will do it. Yep.
I can't see that part of my screen. It has, like I said, the directions for the cereal box so that you can turn that into a little organizer. It has the parent plan at a glance that we talked about and the editable schedule. At the end of the evening, we will give an evaluation. It's electronic. It will be in the chat so that you can give us your feedback. We'll have 2 sessions. We're a little late on the first one. I will be talking with families about how to navigate its learning, looking at student plans, how to figure out what assignments your child has completed and has not completed, and then some websites that are built into its learning to help with reading and math. Mrs. Cullum is doing a session for students with IEPs with different tools and resources that they can use at home in the online platform to support learning. So you can join our sessions just by clicking on our pictures or the words, and it will take you into a new Teams call, and we will be able to meet you there. If you're having difficulty navigating to the session, Mrs. Dito is staying right here, and she can kind of point you in the right direction. So Mrs. Cullum and I are going to head over, and we will see you in our sessions.
For you to go to the other sessions, you can just go into the chat and you can click. So the first one was for Miss Davies, and that's the navigating its learning. The second one, the second link is for Miss Cullum, and that's the tools to support IEPs. So if you just go into the chat, you'll be able to click on either of the links there. And if you have a question, feel free to just unmute your mic and I can try to help you get where you need to go.
Where do you find the chat?
So if you go to the top of your screen, there's like a kind of square where it will look like somebody's talking.
Okay.
If you click on that, then the chat should open up on the right of your screen.
Okay.
Were you able to do that?
Yes. All right, and then they want us to go into their links.
So then the first one is for Miss Davies, and that's the navigating its learning. And the second one I posted is for Miss Cullum, and that's if your child has an IEP, then you can go into that one.
Okay, I'll go into Miss Davies.
Okay, perfect. Just follow that link.
Thank you.
Yep. Does anyone else have a question or need support?
When I click on Miss Davies' link, it just keeps, it goes to Teams and then it pops back over to the chat page.
Mrs. Dito, I just came back here, so I can just share in this one if that's okay.
That's fine. Absolutely.
Okay, so let me bring up my next PowerPoint. Okay.
Yeah, now it's good.
All right, thank you. I figured there must have been an issue because I was sitting over there by myself.
It was.
Okay, so I just have a couple of different things to share regarding It's Learning. As students got devices, we moved away from the SMORE and to It's Learning. And on a couple of different parent surveys, we could see that families really liked the SMORE and the transition to It's Learning was a little bit rocky. So we just wanted to go through just a few things to hopefully make that a little easier for you as we continue to move forward. So again, this session is being recorded for anyone who's unable to join us live. So the reason that we moved to It's Learning is it's really our hub for everything related to distance learning. Teachers have put all the links for team meetings there, so it's easy for students and families to find that link to join class every day. Schedules are there, schedule changes are there with early dismissals, and Fridays. We know that things are sometimes a little bit different, so that's a place where all of our schedules will be posted. And then all of your students' assignments, resources, and their plans for the day are also there. And the county has embedded a few different websites right through It's Learning so that all students need to do is click. They don't really have to navigate through the internet. So these are all things that we're going to walk through tonight. The first thing that I wanted to show you is how to personalize your child's tiles so that it makes a little bit more sense. So I pulled up Mrs. Grossman's classes, and here's all of her subjects for the day. Up in the corner in your child's It's Learning page is a drop-down box, and it's usually set to last updated. You can change this box to your own sorting, and now I can move her tiles around into the order of my child's schedule. So that as I need to navigate throughout the day, everything's in order. So I know that first she has homework, homeroom, and then she has reading, and then writing, and then they go to math. And so I can move these around to fit whatever my child needs. I know that some grade levels, especially kindergarten and first grade, are keeping most things in the homeroom tile for right now. The upper grade levels, 3, 4, and 5, their resources are located in each of the different subject areas. So organizing your tiles this way can help your child more easily navigate It's Learning on their own. So that's one quick thing you can do. While you're in It's Learning, so I'm going to move over to my 4th grade class. Here I am as a student. They come into their class and they see this overview page. Here's where they could find all of their information. But as you can see, the way this is set, Monday's plan is coming up first. And as a student, I need to see Thursday's plan. So they have 2 options. They can click on this Show More, and everything for this week will show up. Or they can click on Plans, and this will give an overview of everything they're doing for the week. The way this is set right now, weeks 2 through 11 are showing up. Your student can just click this drop down and they can choose, I want to see just today. And here is my lesson for today. Or I want to see just this week. So that kind of lessens the number of things that they're seeing on their page so that they're able to easily find things. The plans are built so that students can, one, navigate learning on their own. But if your child needs to be absent one day, Everything that they need is located in this plan. Typically, when teachers are teaching, they're sharing their screen just like I am right now, and they're walking students through how to click on everything. They're showing the solve and share for math or the assignment that they're completing in reading to help them kind of move along. But if you needed to check on something later in the day, or like I said, they were absent, here's where you can find everything that they were supposed to complete. As parents, I know it can be very tricky and overwhelming to navigate what did they turn in, what did they not turn in. So as a student, you can view which assignments you have and you have not done. They have a tab called Follow-up and Reports. And if I click on this tab, I can see my gradebook and my personal report. So the first feature that I want to show you is the gradebook. And here are assignments. So this is viewing me as a fake student. Here are 5 assignments I have. I can see this one's not graded yet. Ooh, I didn't turn in these 2. I did this one and I got 100%. So that's a really easy way for your child to see, here's the things I was supposed to do. Did I turn them in or did I not turn them in? And as parents, you can check that as well. On the teacher's end, we can see the same information. So I could see that my student maybe started the assignment but hadn't quite finished it yet, and I can send a reminder through its learning. So that kind of works 2 ways. I can see all of the students on my end, and at home, you can see what your child has and has not completed. The other feature is the personal report. This one is quite lengthy. It has everything that they have been assigned on its learning. So this 1-1 practice buddy was from the first day of school. It can become overwhelming, but if I scroll, I'm going to scroll down to week 10 where I'm in right now, I can see which things I have read, which things I've completed. Ooh, here was something that was mandatory. I'm supposed to do it and I haven't done it yet. So it's just a way for students and for families to kind of keep up with what's going on in its learning. In the virtual world, it's hard because we're used to having paper and turning papers in, and you can see, oh, I still have this math worksheet sitting in front of me that I haven't turned in yet. So these are just 2 different ways you can kind of keep up with those assignments. And I'm going to show you now on the teacher end versus, now I feel like my PowerPoint went away. It did. Okay, let me pull that back up. I'm sorry. I'm going to show the teacher view versus the student view so you can kind of see how everyone is keeping up with assignments. So here I can see I assigned a worksheet for my students to complete virtually. I can see which students at least visited it, clicked it, opened it, and who hasn't gone to it yet. So teachers can send messages, hey, I saw that John didn't complete today's assignment. Is he having a hard time locating it, navigating it? It's just a way for us to keep up. And then here's what it looks like again on the student's end. So you can kind of see which assignments have and have not been completed. The next part I want to show, and really this is probably the most interesting part to you, are the different apps and sites that students can use at home. So on its learning, all students have a button at the top called Clever. And I'm going to share my screen with you again so that you can kind of see what it looks like. On Clever, I need to use the drop down. Your students will automatically be signed in when they are logged in as a student, and I am not. This screen will pop up, and if students scroll down to the bottom, here are 4 different apps of different sites that they can access. There are 2 for math that we're going to talk about, and then 1 for reading. These are available to all Harford County students to access at any time. So the first one that we're going to take a look at is Dreambox. Dreambox is a math program, and I have a sample of it open for you. I just need to log back in as my son. This program works on all grade level standards. So teachers may assign it in class. You may see it pop up on a Friday playlist, or it can be something that you're using in the evenings to practice. It's very fun, it's interactive, so you can see there's different challenges. My son Brooks likes to go to Dinosaur World. There's different missions for the children to complete. And the really nice part is that it moves along as they master skills. So as they complete a standard, then it brings them to the next challenging one. Or if there's something that they're struggling with, they keep working on it. On the teacher's end, we get a report of each child's progress. And I could see that Mrs. Cullum is really struggling with adding and subtracting within 20, and I can shoot some more activities her way focused on that skill so that she can continue to practice it. It will also give us information as myself and Mrs. McGee, our Title I math specialist, are pulling groups on some different skills that children need to work on. So as we talk about independence, this is really something that you want your children to do on their own so that the reports the teachers are getting are accurate and we know what they're really doing well with and what they could use some support with. So like I showed you before, it's right in that Clever button. They'll scroll down and they can access this at any point. The other math one that they have access to is First in Math. First in Math is mostly fact-based. It's a great way for children to practice their facts. There's different games and they earn stickers, virtual stickers, and we tend to have competitions throughout the school. Last year, we were really pumped to start our March Madness one, and then sadly school closed. So we are looking at ways to build virtual competitions between classes with their stickers and their points. As students log in, I'm in the elementary world right now. All of these different bubbles are games and activities that they could play. If I wanted to practice my facts, I could work on just numbers. If your child's in 5th grade, once we get to fractions, they could play some fraction games. And it's very easy and friendly to use. This one is just going to practice their math facts. There's other games that are a little bit more fun and interactive, but again, that's something that they can play anytime at home. This one you'll often see built into playlists on It's Learning right now because many of the topics we're in, students need that really good fact fluency. And back in the day, flashcards were really the thing. Our First in Math is another fun and interactive tool that they can use. The last option that's built into Clever is iStation. iStation is a reading site, and I'm actually going to pull you back up to my PowerPoint so that you can see some of the snips there. I don't know why it goes away every time. iStation works on all of the different domains and skills within reading. So there is a fluency feature, there is some phonics built in, there is comprehension. At the beginning of every month, students have an assessment that they take and it's built in so the program will automatically do it for them when the new month begins. It just gives, again, that progress that Dreambox does for math, this kind of does for reading. It lets teachers see what skills and strategies students are really good at and which ones they need a little bit more support on. So if your child is doing this at home, this is really something that you want them to do independently so that teachers can get a really great idea of what they're working with. It aligns to grade level standards, and then teachers again can customize activities for students to participate in based on their progress. So when we talk about that communication, if you're really noticing a struggle at home, you might want to send your child's teacher a message through Dojo or an email to say, hey, I'm really noticing this is a weakness. Start that dialogue, and maybe some of these activities can come up in Dreambox or iStation. The last one that I wanted to share, this is not built into Clever, but it's such a great resource that I want to make sure you're aware of, that your children can access. All of our teachers are using a website called GetEpic. So they go to getepic.com. Each teacher has their own class code, which has likely already been shared with you, but if you need it again, please just reach out. When you go on to GetEpic, it's only available during school hours, which is why I can't show it to you live right now. There are books of all sorts that children can access, and they're really great high interest text. You can see right here, Scaredy Squirrel, that's a popular one with the kids. There's nonfiction National Geographic books, some old favorites like Brown Bear, so it goes through all ages. Sometimes teachers might assign a book that they want children to read, but kids also have the opportunity to go in there and select a book themselves that they can start reading. Teachers can again monitor how often kids are in there, if they're just browsing books or if they're actually sitting and reading. So if you're curious what your child's doing while they're on Epic, just ask the teacher and they can pull up that report for them. This is an awesome, awesome website that we really want you to utilize. So if you don't have the class code, reach out and we can get your kids reading books on their level that they're interested in. So this is the only one that is not built into its learning. And I kind of just went through those 4 things. So if you have any questions, you can pop them in the chat or raise your hand and I'm happy to answer them for you, or anything related to its learning.
And then when you're finished, Miss Davies, Miss Cullum came back into the whole group so she can share hers with the whole group.
Awesome. Okay, if we don't have any questions, then I'm going to stop sharing so that Mrs. Cullum can bring her information up. And then I'm going to pop our evaluation for the evening into the chat. So please make sure you complete that before you sign out tonight. Okay, Mrs. Cullum, you should be able to bring yours up now.
And can I just say, before anyone leaves, because I don't know if everyone's going to stay through all of Mrs. Cullum's, that any family that participated in our event this evening is able to come to the school tomorrow, and we will have lunch available to you. So we will be ordering lunch, and it will be at the school between 12 and 1 o'clock if you wanted to come pick up lunch for your family.
We can't hear Miss Cullum.
Miss Cullum, we cannot hear you. Do you have your mic muted? Yes, you do. There you go. Now you're talking. If you could start that again.
Yep.
It's not just the kids that happens to.
Nope, it's all of us. Okay, so the first couple things that I'm going to talk about are some tools that all students can use, not just students with IEPs. The first one is the Read and Write tool. So this is a Chrome extension that can be put onto your child's device. So Harford County actually purchased something called Text Help, and the Read and Write tool is an extension with that company. So there are lots of things that can help children read online with this tool. So I'm going to go ahead and share my I can kind of show you guys the tool. Okay, so up here in my taskbar, I have already added the extension, and some students that were in school 1 day a week, or they were there 5 days a week, I know a lot of teachers already added this extension, but I do have directions for how you can add it to their Chrome browser. So I have an article pulled up here from National Geographic, and right here is the read and write extension. And if you click on it, it pops up just like this. So I can scroll down into my article and I can highlight, and then I can click play and it will start reading. So it's great because I know when you're reading online, it can be really hard to track the text. So it highlights the words for you as it's going along. Say they get to a word that they don't know what it means. They can then highlight that word and click on this book here, and this brings up a dictionary and defines the word. It will also read aloud to them the definitions. They can also use a picture dictionary. So say we want to do wiggles. We can look at the picture dictionary for that. Students are also able to highlight text as they're reading. They can use the screen mask tool, so they are only focusing on certain text at a time. So there's lots of different features within the read and write tool that students can play around with. And I know that a lot of my other special educators that I work with are also working with their students to teach them how to use this and build some independence there. The next thing that actually a student taught me about, I didn't know about this one. Taking a minute to load here. Do you guys see just a spinning wheel too?
I see your slide that says every student can
Yep.
learn, it's not on the same day or in the same way.
Yeah, that's what I see too.
Okay, my computer is frozen. Hang on, let me stop presenting. Okay, so the next tool is the on-screen keyboard. So I kind of want to walk through how you can put this on your student's computer, because I know a lot of our kids have difficulty with typing on the actual keyboard, but they seem to do really well with touchscreens. So if you go down on their Chromebook down here at the very bottom and click like where you can see their internet signal, it'll bring up a screen like this, and you're going to want to click on the little circle that has the wheel. That's going to take you to the settings. And you're going to want to search for accessibility, and then that's going to bring up accessibility, manage accessibility features, and you're going to want to click on that. And then you can enable an on-screen keyboard. So with the on-screen keyboard, when they go to type on the computer and they click on the screen, it will bring up this keyboard on the screen, and they can draw, and that will turn it into text, just like as if they were typing, so they can draw the letters. You can make the keyboard a little bit smaller, and they can also use speech to text here. I have found that I really like the speech to text with this on-screen keyboard a lot better than the one that is in the read and write toolbar. The next thing I wanted to talk about is that there's an immersive reader in almost all of the Microsoft products that we use. So it's even one available in the Teams meeting. So if teachers are having students post things in the chat and our friends that are struggle to read and they want to read what their friends are posting, they can hover over what they posted in the chat box and 3 little dots will show up. And they can click on immersive reader and it will read it to them. There's also an immersive reader tool available in It's Learning as well. The next thing I wanted to share was our special ed team created a website. And on this website, we have lots of different resources for our families. So here's what our website looks like. We have all of our special educators listed here. And if you click on us, it will take you to our own page, tell you a little about us, and then all these different resources here. So we have IEP parent resources. So this will take you to a page that'll talk about what an IEP is and kind of a little bit about the IEP process. Some articles, what disability your child may have, that might be beneficial resources for you to use at home. We also have on here math manipulatives. This will take you to a page where you can find all different math tools that you can use virtually. Each special educator has created their own GetEpic class that Ms. Davies was talking about earlier, so that we can assign books that are on their level. And there's also a virtual calming room that is available on here. So if they get frustrated and they need to take a break, there's lots of great videos in this slideshow here that they can use, and books that they can read and listen to, and all sorts of great things. And that's about everything. Does anybody have any questions?
Okay, if you don't want to ask your questions in the meeting, I've already put the evaluation in the chat, so you just need to go navigate over to that speech bubble, and it will, oh, I think I sent you the wrong link. Let me put the right one in. It will bring up a form for you to complete, and there is a spot at the bottom. There's the right link.
Sorry, that was an accident.
There we go. Oh, thanks, Mrs. D. Oh, that was me. Okay. There's our evaluation for you to complete. And there's a spot where you can ask questions or put any other information in there for us. I'll hang out for a few more minutes just in case anyone needs anything. And we thank you so much for coming. We hope that you'll stop by school tomorrow to pick up your lunch from Mrs. Dito, and we will see you again soon. Have an
Thank
awesome
you,
night.
everyone, for joining us. We appreciate you coming. Truly, if you have any questions or need anything, feel free to reach out. And I'll see everyone tomorrow between 12 and lunch to grab, or 12 and 1 to grab lunch.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Have a great night.
Thanks.